Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is a new show tonight, NFL Express, with my two NFL analysts, Blake Salazar and Steven Hughes. Hey, Blake, how are you?
Good.
How about you, Steven?
Welcome, guys, to NFL Express, the first edition of the show. And we got the new Blake Salazar, a new member for National Sports. I want to congratulate him on being on his first show as the new member of this group.
Thank you.
And congrats, Blake, for being on National Sports and for being on our first edition of NFL Express. Tonight, we have Ray Lewis will return to the Ravens this season. What a big surprise there. Ronald McClain gets suspended from the Raiders, and will his Raider days be over? We will find out. And the Saints and Falcons game, Drew Brees had a horrible game with 5 picks. We'll be going over that. Ben Roethlisberger ruled out again against the Ravens, and Michael Vick and LaShawn McCoy out this week. Now, the first topic we're going to go to is the biggest one. Ray Lewis is going to be returning back. Steven, how significant is this to the Ravens?
This is a big thing for the Ravens, I think, because of what's going on with the Ravens is that they're playing the Steelers for the second time in 3 weeks in week 13, I should say. And this is such a big game. But also, if they get past this game, their schedule goes pretty easy until the end of the season. With Ray Lewis coming back on December 16th to face Peyton Manning and the Broncos, a very big game for the Ravens. It's going to be big for the Ravens defense to get Ray Lewis back and to really start it off hot going into playoff time, because I think they're going to clinch a spot into the playoffs, possibly the AFC North division.
And Blake, your thoughts?
I definitely think he's gonna help out the Ravens with their schedule coming up, kind of like what Steven said. I think the Ravens are gonna be more relieved now that he's back.
Yeah, and Ray Lewis, a big part of the defense for the Ravens. And the Ravens so far have done pretty well this season. I'm liking their team. Joe Flacco has been leading the team pretty well as they're a 9-2 team, and this team's already to the playoffs, as well as they're in the second seed. And with Ray Lewis, Steven, what did he bring to this team before he got hurt?
He's pretty much the symbol of the NFL. His defensive abilities throughout his career has been so amazing, making him a fan favorite in Baltimore. And like you said, going to the topic that you said, the Ravens being good without him, the Ravens are 4-1 without Lewis in the line, so that's pretty good. And also talks about the division. They can clinch it this week with a win over Pittsburgh and a Cincinnati lost. So obviously, this is going to be a big thing for the Ravens to have a Ray Lewis back in the lineup. But if they're going to clinch the division, I think that they should rest him more for the playoffs, so he's 110% healthy, so he gets out there with his partner T. Sizzle and Terrell Suggs, and go out there and do what he does every Sunday.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steven. They should rest him. I mean, you're going to need this guy in the playoffs, and he'll be a big part, which they will make the playoffs this season. I think an easy win over Pittsburgh with Ben Roethlisberger out. And, Blake, with Ben Roethlisberger out for the Pittsburgh Steelers, how big is this for the Steelers without their starting QB?
I think it's like, since they don't have a starting QB, it's kind of going to be kind of hard for them to play good, because they don't really have Ben Roethlisberger anymore. But I think they just need to get into shape and just play good on Sunday.
And we're going to topic to Ben Roethlisberger here, and he had reports that he tried to practice this week, but he's just not feeling it. He can't play, and it's without Ben Roethlisberger, it's not their offense. And Steven, do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, obviously, since 2004, this is including the playoffs against the Ravens. The Steelers are 0-6 when Ben Roethlisberger does not start. So obviously, the advantage goes to the Ravens now, especially if you have a very struggling old Charlie Batch starting, who threw 3 picks in Sunday's loss to the Browns. a division rival, but an easy win for most teams. But especially with the offensive struggles that has lingered because of this Roethlisberger injury, it's really been a problem for the Steelers' offense to really get something started. And I've seen them lose on Sunday against the Ravens because of that, and their defense hasn't been really how it is in the past couple of weeks, going back to probably against the Kansas City Chiefs and like how they almost lost on Monday night. So obviously it's going to be a big blow for the Steelers as again the shoulder and rib injury has cost the Steelers possibly another game and set them back possibly one notch worse to possibly missing out the playoffs. And Blake, what do you thought?
At 6-5, the Steelers can't really afford any more loses. So it's kind of like really hard for them to it's hard for me to imagine them being a quality team. So I think that just like Roethlisberger needs to work on regaining the strength in his shoulder so that they can have him back.
And especially without Brian Leftwich, their backup, it's been tough because Leftwich wasn't a bad backup, and unfortunately when you lose him, even without Ben Roethlisberger, Charlie Batch is old. This guy, yeah, as you said, Steven, gave up 3 picks against the Browns, and the Browns are supposed to be the easiest win, and they have not played well at all, and Brandon Weeden has not really showed who he has been this season. And Steven, with the Pittsburgh Steelers going against the Ravens, what are your predictions on that game?
Like I said, the Ravens, because of the offense, obviously their wide receiver problem continues. They signed Plaxico Burress last week, and he has done a little bit. He did a little bit against Cleveland. Hopefully, he's more of an impact against Baltimore, but I don't think it's going to happen because the Baltimore secondary is just way too good against really unexperienced wide receivers that are starting now because of the injuries for the real starting Steeler wide receivers. Big disappointment, but looks like the Steelers are going farther down the standings and possibly losing out a spot in the playoffs.
And especially, they're going to probably go 6-6 this weekend as a team that has the Baltimore Ravens just keep winning, especially a team that's worked pretty hard this year and also last year. And their chances of getting into the Super Bowl last year were just by a field goal. And I think this team can go to the AFC Championship. And Blake, what do you think? Is this the desperate win for the Steelers?
I think it kind of is. I don't think they would want to go to be 6-6. I think they just want to get the lead to be like 7-5, and then they can work on it from there.
All right, well, that's your predictions for the Steelers and Ravens. We'll be back right after this commercial break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the Saints and the Falcons, how that game went down, as well as Ronald McClain. His Raider days can be over, and also in Philadelphia, Michael Vick fails another concussion test, and LaShawn McCoy will also be out as well, and also it says Vick will most likely not play this week. So we'll be back right after this commercial break. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the NFL Express with Stephen Hughes, Blake Salazar, and Robert Dieters as our next topic. And what we went over pretty much before the break is we went over Ray Lewis coming back this season, as well as Pittsburgh Steeler Ben Roethlisberger is out this week, and as well as Ryan Leftwich is out, as well as Chris Batch has to start for the Steelers once again. Well, let's go on to our next topic here, as pretty much the game between the Saints and the Falcons, a game where the Saints struggled. And Steven, what can you tell me about Drew Brees throwing the 5 picks?
Obviously an off day for him. He really did not struggle in the first meeting between the Falcons a few weeks ago. So it was a big surprise for me, especially as an owner of Drew Brees on fantasy football. Even though the 341 passing yards is not a surprise, but 5 picks and no interceptions, 5 picks and no touchdowns, pardon me, really is a surprise. Really that ended his streak for most consecutive games with a passing touchdown. So he has the record, but obviously a struggling game by Brees really cost the New Orleans Saints this game. Their offense relies on him, and obviously he cannot get the job done. And the Atlanta defense was really good against coverage, on the coverage against this very passing savvy Saints team. Blake.
Definitely an off day for Brees. I know Brees has had better games, and I just think that he wasn't feeling it yesterday.
And also, he lost his touchdown streak because he didn't throw a touchdown in this game. It was 13-23. When you look at the Falcons are a better team, but when your QB throws 5 picks, you just lost the game right there. Your QB pretty much lost the game for you. Matt Ryan had a good day. He went only over 150 yards and 1 touchdown, and I think Michael Turner did pretty well in the rushing game. I liked him as well with the 12 carries and 83 yards. And Steven, what went so well for the Falcons side?
Like I said, the turnovers. If you win the turnover battle, you're going to win this game. 5 interceptions by Brees is still a shock to me. Even though the Falcons did not have a lot of time possession, just the fact that the Saints had 33 minutes to score only 13 points. Just the way that the Saints didn't do well, just really.
And what stood out to me is the third downs, as the Saints actually went 7 for 14, and the Falcons only went 1 for 11. A little surprising there, as I guess when you say the Saints just had a better third down percentage, but it didn't really matter this game. It's just the picks really counted. And Blake, what can you tell me about the picks? Did the Falcons just win the game by the picks?
I think the picks kind of had a little to say about how they won. But honestly, I think Matt Ryan did a good job, but it's also how, like Tono, I liked how the rushing yards, I think he was a big part of Falcons winning the game.
And this game was a game where, some people thought the Saints could have beat the Falcons, and the Falcons, now they improved 11-1, but coming into a team that was 10-1, and the Saints coming in 5-6, and the Saints, Steven, do you think the Saints still have a chance in the playoffs? And we lost Steven, so I will answer this question for myself. The Saints, with a 5-7 record, it's going to be tough. They'll probably have to win their next games, and they're going to have to, I think, you can't really go 8-8. You have to go 9-7. I mean, Blake, would you have to agree with me to make the playoffs for the Saints?
Definitely. Drew Brees really has to step it up, and I honestly, from looks of it right now, I don't think they're going to have a good chance.
And the Falcons already, we know, are the number 1 seed. And what are the 2 best teams in the NFL right now?
I think the 49ers are doing exceptionally really well, and the Falcons, obviously.
And I seen Jerry Rice top 5 picks, and the Falcons and the Niners are the top 2. And do you think that if you had to look at Jerry Rice picks, do you think he just favored the Niners too much? Because the Texans has done pretty well, but with the 2 overtime wins, I think that's how they got put down a little bit. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes, yeah.
And especially with everything going on, I'm liking the Niners so far. And I had my show, I believe, 2 days ago, and I was talking about the QB situation. And Blake, I would like to get your opinion on this. Do you think that Alex Smith should start over Colin Kaepernick?
You know, I don't. Because, I mean, I like Alex Smith, and we all know he was a good quarterback. But, you know, Kaepernick he's been doing really well. And, like, every week he's just doing really good. So I believe that Harbaugh's doing a good choice starting him rather than Alex Smith.
And Colin Kaepernick has done so well, and he's gone out of the pocket. He's throwing passes that Alex Smith can't throw. But what interests me is he's a running QB. But the thing is, I don't think running QBs are going to stay long in the NFL. We already seen Michael Vick get hurt. RG3 has gotten hurt already. And Blake, do you think rushing QBs are going to be in the NFL for 5 years?
You know, that's hard to say for me because, you know, quarterbacks should be throwing. I don't think they really should be running that much because some quarterbacks do a bad job of running and they lose yards. Like Matt Ryan, he had he lost 2 yards in like rushing yards for him. So I don't think that.
Well, let's move on to our next topic. And good points there is, you know, the Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick issue has been a big deal, especially with Alex Smith coming to the media and saying it sucks. I understand. You were the starter. He didn't do anything wrong. He did not do anything. It's just Colin Kaepernick outplayed him in these last weeks, especially coming in against the Rams. And fortunately, that was a tie, and I'm hoping the Niners can get some revenge. And you just did well against the Bears and did well against the Saints. So Colin Kaepernick has had good starts so far, and I'm hoping for a good start against St. Louis. Now let's move on to our next topic here. Ron McClain. His Raider days can be over, and he got suspended 2 games because of Dennis Allen and team issues. What can you give me about it, Blake?
Well, you know, it's definitely. Yeah, I honestly think that his Raider is all going to be over. You know, what do you think?
I think it will be. I mean, he already got suspended, and it's 2 games. They have 5 games left, so he can't come back for the next 3, but I'm not sure if he'll even play, and especially what's been happening so far. And the GM even talked to him and said, McKenzie said, it's going to be on him. I don't feel the need to approach him so far. He is not apologetic, and he's been a jerk. He hasn't apologized to the coach. Do you agree with me, Blake?
Yeah, I don't think that they should definitely play him if he's not going to apologize, you know.
And especially with Dennis Allen and just Ronald McClain, they're not even talking barely, and they had a heated argument at practice. I believe it was Tuesday, and it's just Ronald McClain, you know, coming out of jail and playing. Do you think that NFL players should have more of a consequence going to jail and coming back to the NFL? Do you think they should be suspended for more games?
You know what? I think they should because when an NFL player gets arrested, it kind of shows that the fans, like, what kind of person they are, and I don't think the coach would want that kind of person to be on the team.
And I have to agree with you on that, as, you know, it's just, you come out of jail and you expect to play.
Yeah, and you shouldn't, because, like, why would the coach want you to play?
But you look at Michael Vick, and he came back.
Yeah, but, you know, I think that's kind of different, you know.
I mean, but he beat up dogs, and then he went to jail. I mean, then he was on house arrest. Then he comes back to the NFL expecting to play. I'm surprised anyone gave him that job. I was a little disappointed the Eagles taking him. I thought no one was going to take him back.
No, definitely. I kind of have to agree with you there. Like, who would want someone that did such horrible things like that?
Well, talking about Michael Vick, we're going to move on to that discussion right now, as Michael Vick has suffered the concussion, everyone knows, and he's had so many concussions. It's crazy. And Andy Reid has been one of the worst coaches in the NFL. He has literally. What can you tell me about Andy Reid? What mistakes has he made this year?
I think definitely just like how he kind of like how his plays like and what he decides to do next is just he doesn't really know how to read the plays.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to. He doesn't give. I mean, look, he's not going to change anything for this team, and it's not going to go in any direction. They're 3-8 right now. They lost to the Panthers, and Nick Foles is going to start. He's going to make his third NFL start this Sunday against Dallas, and also with LaShawn McCoy out, it's like you're not going. Your offense is pretty much screwed. And with Jason Babin being released, I did talk about this on my last show as well. He was announced, released, and went to Jacksonville. And I know he was looking for a team that would make the playoffs, but, he still got on the team. And, with Jason Babin being a Pro Bowler, this guy was good. I mean, their defense was scary last year with 50 sacks by the defense. And what happened to the defense this year, Blake?
I think it's kind of just fell apart, I just don't think they did really good.
And I have to agree with you on that. They just did horrible this year. And this offense hasn't done anything better.
No.
And ever since that losing streak lost, they've lost pretty much every game, 3-8.
I think they just gave up. Like they don't really have a point to play anymore.
And Andy Reid's already gonna be gone. He's gonna be hitchhiked looking for another job, and I don't think he should be be a head coach anymore. I just don't think he did a really good job this season. Well, we're going to have a commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to wrap up the show and probably have at least 2 more topics, but we're going to be talking about when we have this commercial break. Hello and welcome back to the NFL Express. I'm with Blake Salazar. Unfortunately, Steven had to go. But me and Blake are still here in Blake's first show. Blake, how are you doing so far?
Good. I'm a little nervous right now. I know I haven't been talking a lot. It's just that it's my first show, and I'm just not, really feeling it right now.
All right, well, our last topic, and I know everyone loves it on ESPN. Everyone loves to talk about this guy. Tim Tebow, and their season has been horrible too, and it's going to be game time as backup. Tim Tebow's status will be a game time decision this week against the Arizona Cardinals because of fractured ribs, and especially with number 3 quarterback Greg McNoy would back up Mark Sanchez in that scenario. Do you think Tim Tebow should start?
No, just because he. After his injury and just, I don't think he really should be, just to keep on the safe side.
And especially with Tim Tebow, he's had a lot of publicity. I bet everyone knows this, so people from even around the world probably know who Tim Tebow is. He's pretty much been, everyone calls him Jesus Christ. So, especially with the Jets, How bad is the Jets season so far, especially with Rex Ryan doing this season?
I think it's just kind of doing. It's not really that good, but on the other hand, it's not really doing that bad. It's just doing okay, in my opinion.
Alright, well, this is what TiVo had to say. I feel like I'm getting a little bit better every day. Obviously, I love to be out there doing everything, but they're trying to be smart, so just slowly progressing with things every day. It'll be to coach and the Docs. So, we're going to wrap up this show, and especially, Blake, thanks for being on the show, especially as our new guy. And when is your next show going to be?
I'm probably going to be shooting for Sunday afternoon, so just watch out for that, probably around 5. So I'll be doing a little NFL games, probably doing the ones in the morning and then ones to come in the evening.
Sounds good, and do you know what your name is yet, or no?
I'm still going to have to figure that out, but I will get back to you on that.
Sounds good, and we're getting a lot of new guys. Also, Tommy Petrini. He is an interesting guy to listen to. He's a funny guy. He loves to do MLB as well. One of our newest guys on this Spreaker. And I know not everyone's been doing shows, but the main guys have been doing it. I'm been president of this since we started in August, and I think we're doing pretty well. We're putting in a good momentum, and we're hoping August we're going to be meeting up again. Most of us will be. So I can't wait to meet up with the rest of the guys, as everyone's widely spread out. So, not everyone sees each other. We call each other, love to talk to each other about sports. And also, we do have a Facebook page. Please follow us on National Sports. We also have a Twitter, National Sports 1. So, follow us on that as well. As well, you can listen to us on SoundCloud and YouTube. YouTube, it goes by every commercial break, so you can listen to every segment we talk about. And I believe Cameron Sadeghi will have a show Sunday, and I don't know everyone else, but I know the Hot Corner was today with Nick Aguilera about hot free agency right now in the MLB, which is a pretty good show. I know he's been on and off, but he's going to be getting his butt back in gear and be doing some more shows. So, especially with Spreaker, I just want to take a little bit of time saying how we kind of started, because I know we don't take enough of how we said to go. Pretty much how this started was we went to play-by-play broadcasting. It goes to every state. It goes to Chicago, I believe, New York. It goes to a lot of places. Look up play-by-play broadcasting camp. It's a camp. If you love to talk about sports, if you love to even do play-by-play for sports, you should go. This is one of the best camps to go to. I found out because of my school, and I'm so glad I got to do this with my school. They gave me a good opportunity, and I'm also doing play-by-play for my school, which I will be doing basketball for Sarah High School soon enough, and also some basketball for Mercy High School, and I can't wait to get that started for me. And it'll be on Spreaker, and I will get some more play-by-plays to you guys. And the main guys have been so far that we've had are Nick Rice, Steven Hughes, Cameron Sadeghi, Chris Sylvester, Sam Rosen, Nick Aguilera. Now Blake Salazar is going to be one of our main guys because he'll be around as well, and others that I probably can't name right now. Well, I'm Robert Dieters from National Sports, and
I'm Blake Salazar from National Sports.
And thanks for tuning in to another show, and this is the new edition of NFL Express affiliation with National Sports. Hopefully we will be back soon, as I'm not sure we'll have another NFL Express, but when we do, you'll get updates about it if you follow our Facebook page. Well, it was good. It was good talking about NFL, and good night.